Hey guys and welcome back. Today I am going to be ranking all my favourite Final Fantasy protagonists. Now this is by Daniel Silva, made on Tia Makers. So if you guys want to go and do your own, then feel free. I'll leave a link in the description box. Before I get started, I do want to say please, 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 please forgive me. I know that my character choice is going to be completely different to everybody else's. But I'll be giving reasons why I prefer certain characters over other characters. And I'm sorry if I dislike your favourite character the most. I mean, everybody's got to have a favourite and a least favourite protagonist. I'm going to be rating these not on looks, but on personality types and not on their games, just basically on their actions, their personalities, and how they interact with other members on their team. So before I continue, Final Fantasy 11 and 14 are not included on Daniel's tier maker, and I completely get why. It's because they're technically original characters that you create. For example, in Final Fantasy 11, my character was Aquia, and she was on Ragnarok server, and she doesn't really talk to people. She just gets given quests and follows the storyline. So I completely get that. I couldn't really rate her because I'd probably be very, very biased and give her a triple S rank because I loved my character in 11. I also love my character in 14, but I kind of want to make a new character now and start from scratch so that I can record my whole journey. So let's begin. Let's start with Final Fantasy 1. Final Fantasy 1, we have the Warrior of Light. Now, the Warrior of Light can be any job class. I'm basing it off, like I said, everything. So how he interacts with other people, his party members, personality, everything like that. And as far as the Warrior of Light goes in Final Fantasy 1, I'm not going to class like Dissidia or Final Fantasy X-2, Final Fantasy After Years. I'm not judging them on any of the other games other than their first appearances. So for the Warrior of Light, I'm gonna say that unfortunately he's a D rank just because he doesn't really have a personality. He is you. So you are the Warrior of Light. You get to pick your party. You can do it without a warrior. You can do it with 4 black mages. You can do it with 2 thieves, 1 white mage, 1 black mage. You can do whatever classes you want. It doesn't have to be specifically a warrior. And the story doesn't change depending on who you are. And I love that about the game. But as far as protagonists go, this does not make a really strong protagonist with a lot of personality. So I'm going to have to put him at D rank, unfortunately. It's not a good way to start, but here we go. As far as Final Fantasy 2 goes, we have Furion. I really hope I'm saying these names correctly. Final Fantasy 2 very much annoyed me at the beginning of the game because they KO all your characters and then revive you, and then half your characters are missing. But Furion, he pulls through, he's determined, he knows what he wants, and I quite like that about him. He's consistently just a good character. He doesn't really develop throughout the game, but he's just consistently good. So for that reason, I'm gonna give him a middle tier protagonist, probably a B. I'd like to give him an A, but I'm gonna give him a B just because he wasn't super memorable. So moving on, Final Fantasy 3. Final Fantasy 3, any of the 4 main characters could be classed as the main protagonist. For some reason, Daniel has put Luneth, so I'm going to go with Luneth, and he does have a personality, but it's nothing that can be developed on. It doesn't seem to be as good as Furion's, but I quite liked him as a character. He's quite well rounded. He knows what he wants and how to get it, but I'm not gonna say he's a favourite character. So I'm gonna put him at a C, and I'm really sorry guys, I know a lot of you like Luneth. As far as Final Fantasy 4 goes, Sasol. I don't even know where to begin with this character. There's so many ups and downs, and I feel this is what a good protagonist looks like. Sasol, I liked him at the beginning, then I hated him, then I loved him. He is a great protagonist, and he's quite well rounded. It's very hard to decide between S or A, and I would give him an S, but I'm gonna give him an A just because I feel like his party members push him up to be that better protagonist, and he's better as part of a team rather than by himself. So for that reason, I'm gonna give him an A. As far as Final Fantasy 5 goes, depending on what version of the game you played, you might have heard Barts or Butts. My version was Butts, but I'm going to call him Barts just for the purpose of this video. I love the fact that he has a best friend that's a chocobo called Boko, and he's quite funny as a main character, and he's an all-round good guy, and I really like him, although I feel like he doesn't progress massively throughout the game. He's just completely well-rounded, even more so than Furion, just because he's slightly more likeable, and I feel like you have to play the games to understand why he's more likeable, and I can't quite put my finger on it, so I'm going to go A, same as Sasol. Final Fantasy 6. So you could argue Locke is the main character or Terra is the main character, and we have gone Terra because she's my girl, and Daniel Silva, who has created this tier maker, has also put her as the protagonist. So Terra starts off as quite a, not really weak, but, well, she's controlled and she's trying to find herself in the world without flying off the hook. She just doesn't understand who she is, and by the end of the game, I'm pretty sure she knows exactly who she is, and we go along that journey with her. She's not nasty to her teammates, she's not overly nice, she's not anything but herself, and I really like this character, and not just because of her design, but because of her whole personality and her whole sort of persona. So I have to give her an S rank. I can't give her anything else other than an S rank. Let's go for 7. So we have Cloud, and I feel like he's a bit of an empty shell as far as protagonists go. Final Fantasy 7 was an amazing game, but Cloud, he just kind of left a hole as far as protagonists go. Like, he's not really a funny guy, he's not really like a strong-willed guy. He's just a bit of everything, but not too much of anything, but not enough of anything. I don't know if that made any sense. But as far as protagonist goes, he's kind of like an empty shell, so you can see everything that happens through his eyes, and it completely works with the game. But he doesn't seem to progress. You find out a lot about him, but he doesn't sort of develop too much as a character. So I'm going to have to put him C rank with Luneth. And I know that most of you guys are going to hate me for putting him at C rank. Disclaimer, I don't dislike any of these characters, but I feel as a protagonist, he could have been better wrote towards the end of the game. The other characters are so strong, they didn't need to make him really well written, but I feel like if he was a slightly better written, it would have changed the game completely. And I know a lot of people are going to be so angry at me with this, and I'm so sorry. Final Fantasy 8, we have Squall, or Squall, depending on how you say it. Squall starts off the game as very, very moody, and towards the end of the game he does develop sort of kind of a soft spot in his heart for his friends, and he really develops as a character. It's just he's not very likeable throughout most of the series, throughout most of the game. So I'm going to have to put him at a B. He does redeem himself quite a bit, but not enough to put him at an A rank. Whereas we have Final Fantasy 9. I personally hate the deformation of the characters. They're like chibi sort of squished characters. But Zidane, or Zidane, I'm gonna call him Zidane because I feel like that's what his name is, and I'm really sorry. Like when Final Fantasy IX came out, none of these characters had names that were spoken, so I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Zidane, he's quite strong-willed, but he's also kind of funny. He set out to do a task, and that was to kidnap a princess. He ended up marrying her. Good on him. I'm gonna have to put him at an A rank. My boy. I'm not awfully fussed on him as a character, but as a protagonist, yes, my boy. Final Fantasy X. Tidus is kind of like a really spoilt child. He has severe daddy issues, and he's not super likable in my books, but he does get very likable towards the end. So I'm going to put him on the same level as Squall. So Squall I didn't enjoy throughout most of the game. Towards the end, yes, I grew to love both of them. So I know I'm upsetting a lot of people. Let's go for 12. So 12, I am very annoyed because Vaughn is just, again, kind of an empty shell for a character. Balthea would have been such a better main character, or even Rex, the guy you play as first, seemed like a much more interesting character. He's kind of like an empty shell, so he's going next to Cloud. I'm sorry. Final Fantasy 13. We have everybody's waifu, Lightning. She's strong, she's independent, she knows how she wants, and yes, she does soften up towards the end, but I would have loved to see her smile some more. I don't think she's an amazing role model. She is beautiful. She accomplishes her tasks. She's very goal orientated. But that's not everything the protagonist should be about. I feel like she should have developed more as a character. So I'm going to put her alongside... I want to put her in between B and C. I'm going to put her as a B rank, and my main reasoning for this is just because I wanted to see her... No, I'm going to put her as a C. I wanted to see her more human-like. So she has a sister that she cares for deeply, but we don't really see them having a laugh together or doing sisterly things, and I'd have loved to see more of that. And along those lines, I'm going to say for Noctis, at the beginning of the game, I thought that he was going to be quite sad and sullen because, you know, his dad's dead when you start the game. But he is, but he develops so fast as a person, and by the time he goes into the crystal to become strong enough to defeat his enemy, he completely changes as a person and becomes everything you need in the main hero of the game. He expresses so many different emotions. The ride is just, you're just there with him the whole time, so I'm gonna have to put him as an S rank. And I know a lot of people are gonna be so annoyed, but this is just my opinion, and I'm really sorry if I've offended any of you. Like I said, please feel free to make your own tier list, and I've popped it down below in the description box. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. If there's anything that you guys want to correct me on, feel free to do it, because I haven't played a few of these games in years, and I kind of want to go back and revisit them all. I'm really looking forward to 7 Remake, and that might change my mind about Cloud. I haven't played it in like 6-7 years now. Same as Final Fantasy 8 and 1 and 2, etc, etc. I haven't played them in so long. If there's anything that might jog my memory, then yes, go ahead, comment and tell me why I'm wrong or why I'm right. So thanks very much for watching, guys. Bye!